Hi, I'm Andy with Ninox Corporation. In this class, we're going to talk about processing vendor bills. When we buy from our vendors or service providers, we're going to receive bills and we're going to have to pay those bills. Today, we're going to look at how we can enter those bills into the system, post them through Accounts Payable, and even recognize them through our job ledger if we're running job costing and project management. I'm going to go into the Operations menu, select Accounts Payable, and I have the option to create a new bill, pay an existing bill, or process a credit memo. I'm going to go ahead and create a new bill. The bill number will be decided by the vendor. So we'll go ahead and type in whatever number the vendor bill has. The bill date is going to default to today, the date of entry. The date may be different. It may be from a couple of days ago if the vendor mailed it to us and it took a few days to arrive. We can also note the due date. Let's say that as a policy, we pay the bills on the last Thursday of the following month. So as this bill was received in December, it would be paid on the 25th of the next month, which is the last Thursday. We can now indicate the vendor that sent us the bill. Or optionally, if there's a purchase order that this bill is going to be posted against, we can just go in and select the purchase order. Here's the purchase order that we created for those 10,000 widgets in our PO video. When we select the purchase order, the vendor will automatically pop up. If I had selected the vendor first and then gone to select a PO, I only would have seen POs from this particular vendor. So you can select the PO and the PO will fill in the vendor, or you can select the vendor and use that to filter your purchase orders. The pay date will be filled in automatically once this bill has actually been paid. And you can check out how we pay our bills through payments and cash disbursements in our class 415. The bill pay class. Moving on, since we have indicated that this bill is against a PO, we have the option of entering the line items one at a time, but it would probably make more sense to just say we got billed for what we ordered. If we click the PO button here, all of the line items from the purchase order will automatically fill in here in our bill line item detail. If there are additional items on the bill that were not on the PO, we can add them by clicking Create Record, or we can simply go with the items exactly as they were on the purchase order. Remember, some bills will not have a purchase order associated with them, maybe rent or utilities or payments on purchased or leased vehicles. So that it's not mandatory that you have a PO to enter a bill. But if you're receiving a bill against a product delivery or a service delivery for which there is a purchase order, it's always a good idea to connect the two. When we connect the two, if I were now to go in and look at the purchase order, I would see the bills received against that PO. We're going to look at that in a moment. As is the case with all of the modules in the Ninox Solution series, you can set up an unlimited number of categories, and then each billing category can be broken down into a classification. When I change the category, I get the classifications related specifically to that category. This is the default posting account that we established when we set up our system for all bills. This is our default Accounts Payable Business Ops account, liability account 2130. This also can be changed at runtime to be posted as a credit to any other payable account, but we're going to go ahead and stick with the default. And while we do have our notebook here that allows us to enter notes against this bill, we also have the option to type in a memo. Maybe there was a memo on the bill that the vendor provided, and we want to capture that memo here. Of course, we also can scan this bill into the system and save it as a document. So not only do we have this billing record in the system, but we can have an actual PDF of the actual bill here connected with our document management module. Now we've received the bill, And the bill included the line item for all 10,000 units that were on this particular purchase order. In addition, we had $5,000 in shipping and handling, and let's say we had a 7% sales tax, which would be an additional $14,000. This gives us a total bill of $219,000. Note that the purchase order was for $200,000. We can now see that we have this open bill for $219,000 against an order of only $200,000. Remember, you can set a threshold for the billing variance against the PO. We set a 10% threshold, which means this system will allow bills to be paid up to $220,000 against this PO. That's the $200,000 of the PO plus a 10% allowable variance. Since the $219,000 bill comes in below our $220,000 acceptable limit with variance, we can go ahead and process this bill. If this bill, or the total of all bills connected to this particular PO, exceeded the PO total plus the acceptable variance, then this bill would be flagged and would require additional authorization or management attention before it could be paid. In this case, we're going to go ahead and continue with our processing. We now have the bill. Now we have to decide how we're going to post the bill, and we have two options. The first option is to post this into our job cost ledger. If you're using the project management and job cost modules, you can allocate this bill, this payable, this cost to a project, a job, milestone, or task. We discussed these features and functions as well as how to use the job cost ledger in more detail in the job cost training videos. But the other option is to go ahead and post this to our general journal. This will credit the default payable account, in this case 2130, and it will debit either the inventory or the expense account where we allocate the cost of the items that were actually purchased. This option allows us to post this bill back to the project ledger as we allocated it using these options here. That's all there is to bill vendor management. You can scan the bills electronically, or if your vendors send you the bills electronically via email, you can drag them right into the system as a PDF. Fill out this bill form, and these bills are now ready for payment. You can learn more about how to pay these bills in training video 415, the bill payment video. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next class.